speaking of fighting games, which I always am, I dipped my toe a little bit into Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I did that because some of my interest was reignited because of some recent developments with a mod for the game, a modded shader, a basically new graphical style for it, which is being developed by I think their name is Rin, like a modder named Rin, who is working and I think partially being literally paid, contracted by the streamer YouTuber Maximilian Dude. Because he loves Marvel Infinite, but like the game is ugly as sin, and that's something he was always pretty upfront about. That's like the first thing people really noticed about it, was that it's not a good looking game. And I saw, like, I have touched that game like a little bit in the past. I think I played it like once, but I saw, oh Christ, my neck. Ooh, that was weird. Like a weird pain in my neck. All right. I saw a screenshot of this, basically this new shading, lighting engine, not engine, but like filter. It's just a mod, like a visual mod. Makes it look super comic booky. Not even like in a Marvel 3 way. Honestly, more like City of the Wolves. Like the new Fatal Fury game that's coming out, that has a really comic booky looking style with like the screen toning, which are like the little like dots in the shading and stuff, and just the colors and the thick outlines and stuff like that. And there's like a couple screenshots that I'm like, whoa, this looks great. Like these screenshots make me want to play the game now if it looked like this. So in anticipation of that, it's still like a work in progress, although apparently it's coming along pretty nicely. And in anticipation of that, I booted the game up. Now, okay, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. What were the big problems with it? Number one, the game is really fucking ugly. Like, it looks bad. Like, I booted it up, Ryu's on the title screen. He looks like shit. He barely looks like Ryu. Some of the characters look decent, like the more metallic robot-looking characters, because it has such a realistic lighting engine and all that. And the characters who are meant to look like, it's kind of shiny. It looks like fucking Jump Force. And so the characters who already kind of look like plastic, like X or Zero, or I think Ultron looks pretty decent. I love that it's classic comic Ultron, not movie Ultron too. Thanos, I think, actually looks pretty good overall. Like characters like that, Iron Man, those characters, the metallic ones, look decent, but a lot of like the human or humanoid characters, ooh, they do not look like fucking meth head Dante, who they actually fixed his face a little bit before release, but there's just a certain extent where like, dude, you just have to like remodel that shit. Like the infamous Chun-Li. Why the fuck does Chun-Li look like that? She looks like a pug. Again, they kind of fixed it. Like, it's crazy. You look like Street Fighter V Chun. You're like, wow, she looks really nice. And then you look at Infinite and you're like, oh, Jesus. Morrigan's weird fucking anime bug eye. She looks like that live action Battle Angel Alita movie. Just lots of visual misses all around. Lots of just lacking in visual flair. Very flat looking game. Also, huge problems with the roster. It was developed at a time, and it kills me so much. This was developed before Disney had the rights to the X-Men and Fantastic Four characters. Now, when you're making a Marvel vs. Capcom game, that's kind of a problem. Now, they were in Marvel 3, right? That had Doom and Sentinel and Magneto and all those guys, right? But now that was Marvel 3 was post Disney deal. And I'm pretty sure what happened with Infinite was basically just that Marvel was way more sticklers about it, and they're like, no, you can't. Disney doesn't want us to include any characters that they don't have the film rights to. Mind you, this was at the same time that they just like, what the fuck? What didn't they just like completely tank the Fantastic Four books and like end them for a bit because to like sink the value of the property so that they could buy the film rights back or whatever? Like that was how mercenary they were being with these goddamn rights. Copyright is such a bitch. And so I am pretty certain something like that was applied to this game, where they were like, no, you can't use these characters, we don't own them, or they don't have the film rights. And that's a problem, because when you think of a Marvel vs. Capcom game, literally some of the most infamous, well-known characters are all X-Men and Fantastic Four characters. Like, who are literally the four like gods of Marvel 2 are all X-Men. Magneto, Storm, Sentinel, Cable. And then Psylocke's also really good. Cyclops is really good, like assist. Those are like a good assist characters. In Marvel 3, Magneto's top tier, as well as like Doom. Doctor Doom is insane. Like those are like well established, like not even just, oh, I have a connection to the character from the comics. Like those characters have like, people have connections to playing those characters in these games, and you don't have them, and it's like, ugh. So the roster is a little bit like, also you can tell there's some budget problems. You can tell there's budget problems with making like new models and stuff. I have a strong suspicion this might have even been confirmed that a lot of the models were ported over from Marvel 3. And you know why I say that is because of the character design. So number one, they have Spencer. Why the fuck would you bring Spencer back? Number two, look at some of the character designs. It's RE5 Chris. Not RE6, which would have been the most recent version of the character, I'm pretty sure. RE5 Chris with the green shirt and all that. Oh, there's another one. There's totally another one. MVCI roster. There's totally another one that I was like, ooh, this is the character from the last game. Ooh, where is it? No, that's a fan roster. What the heck? Why am I not seeing it? Oh, it's DMC3 Dante. You're like, what? They didn't update it or anything to the at least like the design from 4 or something, right? Like DMC4 Dante. Yeah, like they didn't. It's it's pretty clear that like, okay, they just took these character designs that were like out of date at the time and ported them over. Some of the faces look really bad. It seems like it was just a budget operation, which is not what you want to do with a game like this, right? And if they just waited a couple years, they would have had the X-Men. They would have had Fantastic Four. They could have had those characters. And it was, I don't know, it completely failed to excite people in the ways that a fighting game really needs to. Where you look at a character and you're like, you look at a character and you look at the game and you look at the visuals and you're like, dude, I want to play this. With like that feeling that I had when I saw that screenshot of the mod. So I went in and I played the game, and you know what the worst part of the game is? I'm not kidding. Straight up, the worst part of the game is that it's actually really fun. That game is really fucking fun. Oh my god. Dude, this sucks. I'm like, dude, that's like the worst part. It's like listening to an album or something, and you're like, dude, this was so close. It's so close to being amazing, but there's just like a little thing in every song that kind of holds it back, right? It's like the fact that it was so close to greatness. but it was held back by this bullshit, is so frustrating. That is a really fun game. I think I probably like it a little more than Marvel 3, actually. And I can explain why. So the major changeover from 3 to Infinite was Infinite went from 3v3 to a 2v2 plus with they kind of replaced that third character with one of the Infinity Stones, where you would be able to pick one of the 6 Infinity Stones or Infinity Gems. Should be stones, right? They're kind of synonyms. And then that would give you like a unique ability. And then it would also have like a super powered up like fucking thing that you could pop that was different per stone. So you might be like, oh, well, it's less deep because there's less characters, and I don't really feel like the stones really make up for it. But every character individually feels a lot more fleshed out than they do in Marvel 3. In Marvel 3, there's some very surprisingly basic characters, like where it feels like they just kind of like threw together a sort of very general moveset for them. And there aren't that many interesting wrinkles to it or little details or facets of them. And that's kind of intentional because it's a 3v3 game. You need 3 characters, and if every single character is really deep and really unique with that big of a roster, it's kind of like a little bit overwhelming. Part of the idea of a team game is that you're sort of, the characters that you put on your team sort of make up one single like gestalt of a character, right? Where like, oh, I'm gonna pick this character to add this to my team, this character to bring this to my team, and this character for this. And that's kind of how that game operates. Infinite brings a lot more focus to the individual characters and gives them just like neat little mechanics and sort of cool little. They're not like incredibly deep, right? They're not like, I don't know, something like you'd find in like an ArcSys game, right? Where it's like, oh my god, they have all these a bunch of different moves and all these weird interactions and stuff. But there's just like these cool ideas, like X has all of it. Which, by the way, I love the pick of finally having X and Zero in the same game. And X gets this thing where he can do like a special and then hit a button and get like unique follow-ups off of. He has like a corresponding follow-up to every single button, and you can do these like cool little combos of like throw the boomerang and then do the ice thing and then do and it's like it's one of those things that really feels like it invites some experimentation, where I just had a lot of fun going into training mode. Also, it's a 4-button game, which Marvel 3 is still technically a 4-button game, but Infinite has like light and heavy punches and kicks, which means that there are really like 2 versions of every special. And I think that actually kind of works in its favor, because in Marvel 3 sometimes, I feel this with like Street Fighter 2 a lot, whenever you have like 4 different versions of one special move, a lot of times, like, at least one of them is going to be kind of underused. Like, do you never, like, I was just thinking about this, playing, like, Third Strike Dudley. Do you ever use anything besides EX Machine Gun Blow? No, you never use the light, medium, or heavy versions. You use the light version in, like, one single cool, like, stylish combo, which is neat. It's a cool combo. But, like, you're never using medium fucking Machine Gun Blow. Come on. So there's kind of like a little bit of like wasted, kind of feels like wasted space. In Infinite, only having 2 versions of each move lets them kind of give each version a distinctive sort of purpose to it. So just playing Ghost Rider, right? And I'm like, oh, cool. So he's got this like chain whip special. And one of the versions causes like a wall bounce, and the other one causes like, what is it? The other one is like the light version causes a wall bounce, and the heavy version is like this big like combo ender slam thing. So yeah, it is like the same move, but they actually have pretty different utilities in how they're actually used. And everything, it feels like so many characters, they paid a lot of attention to actually giving them cool options off of stuff. Like, I was playing fucking Nemesis, and Nemesis is a character I was like, oh damn, that would be a cool character to play in Marvel 3, and then I kind of tried just like messing around with him, and I was like, oh man, he does not get a lot. He doesn't get a lot. Like, it's cool to win with him because he's like a low tier character, but he's low tier for a reason. And he is certainly like really limited. Like if you don't have a good OTG option in that game, man, you just do not get to do a lot of stuff. That's why Doom is like such a ubiquitous character in that game, because he just gets it for free. He just gets to hit the fucking heavy attack button, and he just does the fucking like axe kick, scoop you off the ground. And whenever I would be like, oh man, yeah, I don't see this character a lot. Let me like check them out. Let me see, like, look them up. And the one thing so many of them have in common is they have bad OTGs. They just can't get them, or you have to spend meter for it. They're just like a lower reward character than other members of the roster, and it'd suck because it's like, but it would be cool if like they were viable like that. And Infinite feels like at least like a lot of the characters. I'm not an expert on the game. I know that there's like low tiers and stuff like that, but it feels like at least a lot of characters have some really cool attention paid to them to be like, oh no, they actually have cool, unique options. They can actually do stuff. And the fact that it has, instead of the assist system, it has the active tag system. Like, this is a tag game. And it is really easy and really fun to just do, like, a really quick, simple combo into hit the tag button. The other character rushes in, and then they pick up the combo and do some kind of, like, ender into a super or something. Like, everyone gets to do that, and it just feels really good. Really smooth. Like, everything really feels... There's a great flow to that game. And I thought it was really funny just messing around. Like, I was just messing around with, like, Ghost Rider stuff for, like, 30 minutes. Because I was like, oh, I wonder if you can do this. I wonder if you can get this. And just putting together, like, a little basic combo. And then I decided to go do his character, like, combo trials. And they were really similar. They were really similar to the ideas that I was having. And I thought that was really neat. That this character could have, like... with just a little bit of experimentation, I could come on to, like, oh, some actual real stuff. It is a really fun game. And I think I wish we lived in a different world where it got the chance that I think it deserved with that design. Hopefully, I think it would be really neat. Dude, that graphical update... That mod, if it gets, like, fully completed, which the progress is pretty steady as far as I can tell. If it gets fully completed, I would be so hyped. Like, it is a game, like, I remember I was playing Marvel 3, and I was kind of struggling to find characters that I wanted to put on a team, right? Like, not a lot of the characters really stuck out to me, just personally. I was playing Infinite, and like I felt like I had too many options. I felt like, oh my god, like I want to play Ghost Rider, and I want to check out Ultron. And Thanos feels super cool. I love doing this fucking jumping 6H, the fucking palm breaker, like it's such a cool move. Captain America's got really cool stuff in this game. Who else is neat? I literally just had the roster up. If I just look at it, Nemesis is also cool. Yeah, like I played him again. I'm like, wow, he's cooler in this game. He's cooler in this game than in Infinite. Or sorry, than in 3. Gamora was cool. Thor is actually really neat in this game. Captain Marvel, a character I never thought would be interesting. I do not care for the modern Captain Marvel. Actually kind of a cool moveset in this game with like the midair like rush what would you call those, like rush attack or whatever. I'm super down, and god, you know. Do you guys have a game like that? I am really curious. Do you have a game that you're like, this should have gotten, this should not have been screwed over the way that it was? I'd be very curious to know, because those are always like, yeah, those kind of like hidden gems. I think at this point I would consider Marvel Infinite a hidden gem, and also the pun is way too good because it's about the infinity gems and all that. Yeah, if we ever got like a MVC 4, right, like a follow up or something like that, I wouldn't mind, or another Versus game. I genuinely wouldn't mind if they took more from Infinite than like 3. I think I would be down with exploring that. And I think it's funny because you look at Project L, or sorry, 2XKO. The name is getting a little bit easier to say for me. I still don't like it. And I think it's kind of funny how much inspiration you can see it takes from Infinite, where with like the whole active tag thing, and all that. Like, that is such a specific thing to grab from that game, but it's totally true. Like, it totally screams that, like, oh no, the people developing this are really into fighting games, and they are fucking mad that Infinite failed when it had such a cool idea. I can't believe, I was like watching some tournaments for it, and I was like, okay, there is like one bit that I'm like, okay, no, I see what people don't like about it, which is the fucking super tag, where you can do a super and then tag in after it. And it's not like a DHC or anything where you have to like spend another bar. Like, it's free. It's totally free. And at first you're like, oh, that's so cool. That's so cool what I get to do. And then it's like, oh, wait. People get to do that to me. Excuse me. I feel like if this game got like a couple more balance passes or something like that, if it wasn't just dropped like fucking Moses in the river to die, it would have been, I imagine at some point they would have made it cost like half a bar of meter or something like that. That seems reasonable to me. Or a full bar. Or a foo bar. What is foo bar? Thoroughly confused, disordered, damaged, or ruined. Wait, doesn't it stand for something? FUBAR acronym. Fucked up beyond all recognition. Like Chun-Li in this game. Anyway,